beautiful soul. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Emily, also known as Emily the Mystic. And in this video mini-series, I have been talking all about the different phases of the moon and how the energy frequency of those different phases of the moon is impacting you and your life, and how you can best work with the energy of the moon during these different phases to have really cool impacts on your life so that you can be more in alignment with your divine feminine energy and that you can find more ease and flow in your daily routine. So this video, we're talking all about the full moon energy. For an introduction to this video series, make sure you go back and check out my video all about the new moon, where I dive into this topic and more about why this type of spiritual information is so important and impactful to your life. It's not even spiritual information. It is Mother Earth information that is actually impacting all of us, and you can find a really incredible way with using and working with this energy to help you and benefit you in your life. So make sure you go back and check out that new moon video for more information about that topic, and check out my video all about the first quarter moon as well. It's not a phase of the moon that's really talked about that often, and it can have really cool impact on your day-to-day life. So make sure you check that out as well. But without further ado, let's dive into the full moon and what goes on during this cycle of the moon and how it impacts you. So, of course, we know the full moon is probably the most potent time of the lunar cycle. It is when the moon is the most visible in the sky. It's when it's the brightest in the sky. And of course, we hear all kinds of anecdotes about, how during a full moon, there are more police reports created, or there are more people in the hospital, more babies born, things like that, as well as just a general more intensive energy. Maybe you notice that your animals get a little bit more active during the full moon, or your kids get a little bit more active or unsettled during the full moon. Perhaps you even notice some interesting or different things kind of happening in your own life during the full moon. This is all for a reason. It's because the energy frequency of the full moon is so potent that it really creates an intensity in the collective energy and the collective environment, and we are all connected. So we are all being connected to and feeling the potent frequency of the full moon when it is full in the sky. So this is real. This is very real stuff. Everything carries an energy frequency. And with that, we can best learn how to work, with this type of energy so that it can really have a positive impact in our life. Okay, so halfway between my last video about the first quarter moon and this video about the full moon, the moon goes through a phase called the waxing gibbous phase. So I just want to make a quick side note on that. What can we do when the moon is in the waxing gibbous phase? What does that mean? So when the moon is in the waxing gibbous phase, it is slowly growing more and more full, more and more visible. And this is a really great time for making adjustments. This is a really great time for making tweaks and changes to what's going on in your life, what's going on with your goals and your intentions, and what you're trying to manifest for yourself. So if perhaps you're thinking back towards the new moon a couple of weeks ago, maybe your intentions have changed. Maybe your goals have changed. Maybe you want to switch course a little bit. So during the waxing gibbous phase, it's a really great time to make those tweaks and those changes before we reach the full moon. So again, it's a great time to reevaluate. It's a great time to kind of take stock on everything that's going on and see where you need to adjust things and shift things, and where things need to be changed a little bit in order to best flow and move forward. So that is the waxing gibbous phase. Now let's talk about the full moon. So the full moon, because the moon is so bright in the sky, it illuminates everything that is going on in our lives. It really casts a light on a lot of different things, such as areas of emphasis in our life that we need to pay more attention to, areas of healing in our life that we need to pay more attention to, as well as things in our life that are no longer in alignment that we're tolerating, that we're still holding on to, that no longer feel good for us and are no longer a vibrational match that we need to let go of and move on from. This time of the moon, during the full moon, it's also a really expansive time for your intuition. You may notice that you're feeling more connected in spiritually. You may feel like you're more connected into the universe. You're receiving more spiritual downloads, intuitive hits, ideas, pops of information, visitations from spirit beings of all kinds. So our intuition really gets a boost during the full moon, which I think is really important to note as well. It is a really intensive phase of the moon, so you may have trouble sleeping. You may also have headaches, or you just may feel more tired in general because during the day we're really being activated and the energy of the full moon is super activating. So again, you may feel more tired than normal or have trouble sleeping or just feel kind of more wired than normal. You know, that feeling where it's like you haven't had enough sleep, but you need to do work and you're just feeling kind of like zingy and like, I just need to get things done. So you may definitely be feeling like that during the full moon. And of course, there's a reason for it. The full moon also really allows us to see things from a clearer perspective. It really gives us a higher level view of what's kind of going on in our life in all different areas. It helps us to see situations that we're going through from a higher perspective. It helps us to see the people in our lives from a higher perspective and our relationships with a clearer, higher perspective as well. And it really puts an emphasis on things that need to be released and things that we need to let go of. Okay, so you will notice during the time of the full moon that you may be fed up with some of your old behaviors. You may be fed up with a person or people in your life. You may be fed up with a job, or you may be just fed up with the clutter in your house or the piles of stuff that are going on and the piles of laundry that you just need to tackle. So when it comes time for the full moon, you may start to notice all of these things bothering you, activating you, and irritating you, triggering you a little bit more than normal. And it's because the full moon is showing us where it is important for us to release and let go of things. So, time of the full moon is a really great time for letting go, releasing, and detoxing. And this is because during this phase, we're ready to let go of the old so that when the moon is new again and we're moving into a new cycle, a new phase, we can begin from a clean slate. We can start fresh. We can have a new beginning. So you may also kind of think about the full moon as being kind of that death time period in the lunar cycle. When we take a look at the tarot, the tarot deck is all about death and rebirth. And so according to the lunar cycle, the full moon is that time of death. It is that time of endings. It's that time of wrapping up the loose ends, tying things up, and knowing when it's time to let go of some old stuff that we've got going on so that we can make room for the new, and we can make room for the new during the new moon, which is so exciting. Okay, so what can we do to release things? How can we let things go? What are some rituals that we can do during the full moon to help support this process? So let's give the example of the YouTube channel that we've been talking about during the course of this video mini-series. So in the new moon, we set the intentions for our YouTube channel and we got excited about creating the YouTube channel. During the first quarter moon, we actually put in some action and we got some stuff done. Perhaps we started creating videos. Perhaps we found a video editor to edit those videos for us. Perhaps we started posting things. So moving on from that, when it comes time for the full moon, what is it time for us to let go of? So in terms of the YouTube channel, perhaps we may have noticed that we have some behaviors or habits that are getting in the way of really putting in the time and effort into the YouTube channel. Perhaps we are kind of lagging and dragging our feet when it comes to scheduling the videos, and that's behavior that we need to let go of. From a more physical perspective, maybe we're fed up with the camera that we've been using and we want to buy a new camera. So we're going to let go and release our old camera. Perhaps we are ready to let go of some old content ideas so that we can make space for some new ones that are going to be more supportive of the YouTube channel that we actually want to create. And perhaps we want to let go of some limiting beliefs around, I'm not good enough for this YouTube channel, or I'm not worthy enough to be here. Who am I to talk about this topic? I'm not an expert in this topic, which, side note, you are, and you are worthy. So if you are having limiting beliefs like that, the full moon is a really great time to let go of those limiting beliefs. So I want to emphasize that during the full moon, it's an important time not just to let go of physical things, such as clutter in your house, cleaning out the fridge, perhaps donating old clothes. Maybe you are letting go of an old friendship or a relationship that's no longer serving you, an old mentor, an old coach. Perhaps you're letting go of an old house, you're moving. Perhaps you are letting go of... I feel like those are some pretty good examples from a more physical perspective. But from a more intrinsic, internal perspective, you may be called to be letting go of old behaviors, such as biting your nails or binging on too much sugar after your work day, or binging on too much TV when you want to be getting other things done. Perhaps you want to be letting go of some limiting beliefs, such as I'm not good enough for this, I can't do this, some imposter syndrome that's coming up, you're not worthy, you're not deserving, all of those things. So you may be called to let go of some more physical things, or you may be called to let go of some more internal, intrinsic things. And this is going to change up depending on the full moon cycle. You may find some full moons are more intensive for you with letting go of more external physical things, and some are more focused on the internal perspective. So just be aware of that, pay attention to that. Okay, so when it comes to making some rituals for figuring out what we're ready to let go of and how can we actually release and let go of those things, carve out some quiet space just like we did for the new moon with setting our intentions and manifesting. Now we want to write a list of what we are ready to let go of. So that could be internal things such as those beliefs, those habits, those ways of being, or they could be those external things, clutter, old stuff, people, situations in your life, jobs in your life, moving in a house like we were talking about before. So write down what you are ready to release. And again, some cycles may be more focused on the physical, some may be more focused on the internal, the intrinsic. Next, you can think, if you're having trouble with coming up with your lists, you may want to focus on what are you tolerating? So that's a really great question to think about. What are you tolerating? For me, maybe it's this pile of Post-it notes that I have in front of me that I need to clean up and let go of. Maybe you're tolerating the old food in your pantry cabinet that's bothering you. Maybe you're tolerating there's a fix in your house that you've been wanting to do for months and it's bothering you, and now it's time to let go of the stubbornness and actually get it done. You can also think about what's just bothering you in general, what's irritating you, what's triggering you. Write those things down because those are going to give you some big clues about you're ready to release, what it's time to let go of. Okay, so now once we've written everything down, we've gotten it out of our head, on paper, into the physical world, we can destroy our list. We can let it go. Now, this is totally optional. I find that it does feel really good, but we do want to do this in an environmentally friendly, safe way if we can. So you may want to burn your list, get out a metal bowl and go outside and set fire to it if you want. You may want to rip those pieces of paper up into a million pieces, recycle them if you can. Don't throw your paper into a river or, into the woods or outside We want to make sure we're throwing it away in a healthy manner for the environment. Super important. And you also may not feel the need to destroy your list because you may want to look back on it with time to see how you've grown and what you actually did let go of and what you actually did move on from. And during this time, it's also a really great time to detox yourself too. So I don't mean necessarily doing a full out health detox, like a strict diet or exercise regimen, although you could if you are feeling guided and receiving a lot of intuitive hits that you need to be doing that. But detoxing can be done in other ways, such as taking an Epsom salt bath. That's one of my absolute favorite for really detoxing, especially if you get the water nice and hot and you can kind of really sweat it out. That feels really good. Sweating in general is great for detoxing, so getting in some exercise that really gets your heart rate up and helps you sweat can feel great. Again, don't overdo it. We don't need to be killing ourselves with high intensity exercise, but do something that helps you to really sweat, get that energy, that old energy out of your body. Acupuncture is a great energy modality for detoxing as well. Same with just energy medicine. Maybe you want to schedule a Reiki session or a 5D Galactic Star energy healing session with me once a month during the full moon as a way to detox yourself and just kind of let go of some old blocks and some old energy blockages. So those are also some really great ways to detox yourself as well during this time. And I want to make a note that during the full moon, it's not actually the time to physically detox, physically do the things that you're ready to let go of, So physically, like cut yourself off from the old job or old friend, or clear the clutter, or, fix the things in your house or fix the limiting beliefs. But all of those things can be done during the last quarter moon, which you'll learn about during my next YouTube video. So the full moon energy is all about setting the intention for what you want to let go of. It's not as much about taking the action on actually letting go of those things. Although you may want to start thinking about some planning steps for letting go of those things in your life in order to help you as you get towards the last quarter moon. Okay, and finally, a lot of people like to leave their crystals out to recharge during the light of the full moon. So you can leave them outside, although be very careful because some crystals are water soluble and they can get damaged if there's dew outside or if you get a surprise rainstorm. Your crystals will dissolve or get kind of like opaque and not as pretty and clear as they used to be. So be careful about that. You can also leave them near a window in your house that gets light from the moon, so that's facing towards the direction of where the moon is in the sky. I don't really do this. This is not something that's really important to me or really resonates with me, but for some people, they love doing this little ritual, so I just wanted to share that with you in case it resonates with you. But always be very cautious when you're leaving your crystals out to charge. Check if there is an eclipse. Eclipse energy is the type of energy that we do not want our crystals to be charged with. Please do not leave your crystals out when it is a full moon eclipse or some other type of, or a solar eclipse of some kind. No. That energy is really intense and potent in a way that we don't want in our lives because it could create chaos where we don't need chaos. I'll just say that. So be very careful. Usually eclipse season takes place here in North America. It takes place between the months of May, June, and beginning of July. It also takes place during the months of October, November, December. So just make sure you check to see if there's an eclipse or not going on. Most likely there isn't, but just to be safe. All right, so that's all you need to know about the energy of the full moon. I hope this video resonated with you and gave you some great ritual ideas for your next full moon detox and releasing ritual that I hope you will add to your daily rituals. Or not daily rituals, but monthly rituals. You know what I mean. Sending so much love, and I can't wait to see you in the next video, which is all about the last phase of the moon, the last quarter moon. So I'll see you there. And make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel and comment on this video if it helped you. Bye-bye.